Emily Carter once believed happiness could never disappear. She lived in a small but warm house on the edge of the city with the people she loved most. Her father, Daniel Carter, was a kind and hard-working man who always came home tired but smiling. No matter how difficult life became, he never allowed stress to enter the house. Her mother, Sarah Carter, filled every corner of their home with warmth. She laughed loudly, hugged tightly, and somehow always knew when Emily was sad, even before Emily spoke. Then there was Noah, Emily's little brother, the loudest and happiest person in the family. Every evening, Noah would run through the house while Sarah chased him with a kitchen towel, pretending to be angry. "Mom, Emily is cheating in the game again!" Noah shouted one night. Emily laughed. "You're just bad at losing." Daniel wrapped an arm around Emily's shoulders. "My daughter would never cheat," he said proudly. Sarah crossed her arms dramatically. "Oh, really? Then explain why your daughter suddenly wins every game?" The entire house exploded with laughter. Moments like that felt endless, safe, perfect. Sometimes Emily stayed awake at night, just listening to the sound of her family talking downstairs. Back then, she didn't know those ordinary moments would become the memories she missed most. One Friday evening, Daniel walked into the living room with car keys spinning around his finger. "Pack your bags," he said with a grin. Noah jumped from the couch immediately. "Are we going somewhere?" Sarah laughed. "You almost broke the table." Daniel smiled warmly. "We all deserve a break. Just one weekend together. No stress, no work, no school." Emily smiled softly. It had been a long time since she had seen her father look so relaxed. That night, the family packed clothes, food, snacks, and blankets into the car. The next evening, they finally left the city. Emily sat beside the window while soft music played inside the car. Outside, the sky slowly darkened. Rain began falling. At first, it sounded peaceful, tiny drops tapping against the windows. But little by little, the storm grew heavier. The roads became slippery. Thunder echoed across the sky. Daniel's smile slowly disappeared as he focused on the road. Sarah looked nervous. "Maybe we should stop somewhere until the storm calms down," she said quietly. "We're almost there," Daniel replied. Then suddenly, bright headlights appeared directly ahead. Too close. A truck, driving out of control. Sarah screamed. Daniel tried turning the wheel. Noah cried in fear. Emily grabbed the seat tightly. Then came the horrifying sound of metal crashing. Glass shattered everywhere. Pain. Darkness. Silence. Waking up alone. Emily slowly opened her eyes. Everything felt blurry. A painful ringing filled her ears. White lights above her, machines beside her, the smell of medicine. Hospital. Her lips trembled. "Mom." No answer. Emily looked around weakly. A nurse standing nearby lowered her eyes. Fear immediately filled Emily's chest. "Where's my dad?" she asked. Still silence. Her breathing became faster. "Where's Noah?" The nurse gently held her hand, and in that moment, Emily understood. "No!" Tears instantly filled her eyes. "No! No! Please!" "They tried to save them," the nurse whispered sadly. Emily's world shattered. She screamed, not loudly, but painfully, like someone whose soul had been ripped apart. For weeks, Emily remained inside the hospital. Her body healed, but her heart didn't. The funeral felt unreal. 3 graves stood in front of her. 3 people she loved more than anything. Gone. People cried around her, but Emily felt numb, like part of her had died with them that night. After the funeral, Emily had nowhere left to go. The only relative willing to take her in was her uncle, Richard. But Emily quickly realized he didn't actually want her there. Richard lived in a large but lifeless house with his wife, Linda. The atmosphere inside felt cold from the moment Emily entered. No smiles, no comfort, no warmth. Linda looked at Emily with annoyance. "She'll stay in the small room upstairs," she said. That was all. No hug, no sympathy. Emily quietly carried her bag upstairs. That night, she sat on the floor holding an old family photo. She stared at the smiling faces for hours, then finally whispered, "I miss you." Tears slowly rolled down her cheeks. Days passed, then weeks. Richard spent most nights gambling and drinking. Linda barely spoke to Emily unless she wanted something cleaned. Emily felt invisible. Every morning became harder to survive. Sometimes she secretly wished she had died in the accident too. One night, Richard returned home looking terrified. His shirt was wrinkled. Sweat covered his forehead. His hands trembled while trying to light a cigarette. Emily noticed immediately. "What happened?" she asked carefully. Richard snapped at her. "Mind your own business." Emily stayed silent, but fear settled inside her chest. Loud banging shook the front door. Boom! 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 Linda froze. Richard's face lost all color. "Open the damn door!" a voice shouted outside. Richard slowly opened it. Several men stormed inside. Without warning, they punched him violently. Emily gasped. "Where's our money?" one man yelled while kicking Richard to the floor. I need more time," Richard cried. Then Emily noticed someone standing quietly behind them. A tall young man dressed entirely in black. Black shirt, black pants, dark eyes, cold expression. Unlike the others, he stayed calm, silent, dangerous. His name was Ethan Blackwood, the son of Victor Blackwood, one of the richest and most feared men in the city. Ethan slowly stepped forward. His eyes landed on Emily, and for a moment, everything around him disappeared. She looked terrified, fragile, broken, but still beautiful. Ethan looked back at Richard. "If you don't return every dollar by tomorrow morning," he said coldly, "we'll take the girl instead." Emily's heart stopped. "What?" Richard looked horrified. Ethan's voice became colder. "You heard me." Then he turned around and walked away. But before leaving the house, he looked at Emily one last time. And somehow, that look scared her more than the threats. Later that night, Emily secretly overheard Richard and Linda arguing downstairs. "What are we going to do?" Linda shouted. "I don't have the money," Richard yelled back. Linda crossed her arms. "Then give them the girl." Emily froze outside the door. Richard looked shocked. "She's my niece." Linda laughed bitterly. "And? Will your niece save you when they put a bullet in your head?" Richard stayed silent. Linda stepped closer. "You have 3 choices. Pay the debt, die tomorrow, or hand the girl over." Richard sat down slowly, burying his face in his hands. "I can't die," he whispered. Emily's eyes filled with tears. In that moment, she realized the truth. They were really going to sacrifice her. She quietly ran back to her room before they noticed her. The moment the door closed, she collapsed onto the floor, crying. "Why?" she whispered through broken breaths. "Why is this happening to me?" She looked at the family photo shaking in her hands. "Mom, Dad, I can't do this anymore." That night, Emily cried herself to sleep. The next morning arrived too quickly. Emily barely slept. She already knew what was coming. Then the black cars appeared outside the house. Ethan returned. Richard couldn't even look Emily in the eyes. "I'm sorry," he muttered weakly. Emily stared at him in disbelief. "You're really doing this?" Richard looked away. That silence hurt more than any answer. The men grabbed Emily's arms. She struggled desperately. "Please," she cried, Uncle, don't let them take me! But Richard stayed frozen. Tears streamed down Emily's face. You promised my father you'd protect me. Still nothing. Ethan watched silently. For the first time in years, guilt appeared inside his chest. Emily was pushed into the black car. During the drive, she quietly cried beside the window. Ethan sat beside her, silent, cold. But every time she wiped tears from her face, Ethan looked away, as if seeing her cry bothered him. The Blackwood mansion looked enormous, beautiful, and empty. Everything inside screamed wealth, yet somehow it felt colder than Richard's house. Ethan led Emily upstairs. "This room is yours," he said. Emily glared at him. "You kidnapped me." Ethan's jaw tightened. "You're here because of your uncle's debt," Emily replied. "You could have taken anything else." For a moment, Ethan stayed silent, then quietly replied, "No, I couldn't." Emily frowned. What does that even mean? But Ethan simply walked away. That night, Emily sat alone inside the large room. She felt trapped, like a bird locked inside a golden cage. The following weeks were miserable. Emily worked inside the mansion as a servant, cleaning, cooking, washing dishes. Ethan remained cold most of the time. He rarely smiled, rarely spoke. Emily hated him. Every time she saw him, she remembered losing her freedom. One evening, Ethan walked into the kitchen and found Emily quietly crying while washing dishes. She quickly wiped her tears away. "I don't need your pity," she whispered. Ethan stared at her silently. Then he placed something gently on the table. Emily froze. It was her family photo. "You left it in the car," Ethan said quietly. Emily carefully grabbed it. Her fingers trembled. "Why would you keep this?" she asked. Ethan looked away. "Because I knew it mattered." For the first time, Emily saw something different in his eyes. Not cruelty, sadness. Days slowly passed, and little by little, Emily started noticing things. Ethan barely slept. He constantly argued with his father, Victor. Victor was feared by everyone. A powerful man involved in gambling, illegal businesses, and violence. One night, Emily accidentally overheard them fighting. "You're becoming weak because of that girl," Victor said angrily. Ethan's expression darkened instantly. "She has nothing to do with this," Victor laughed coldly. "You brought her here because you wanted her. Don't act innocent now." Ethan grabbed his father's collar. "Don't talk about her like that again." Victor smirked. "You're in love with her." For the first time, Ethan said nothing. Emily quietly stepped away from the door. Her heart was beating strangely fast. Winter arrived. One night, Emily became seriously ill. Her fever grew worse during the storm. When she slowly opened her eyes the next morning, Ethan was sitting beside her bed. He looked exhausted. "You stayed here all night?" she asked weakly. Ethan looked away. "You were burning with fever." Emily stared at him quietly. "Why do you care?" Ethan stayed silent for a long moment, then finally whispered, "Because seeing you hurts me too." Emily's heart skipped. Neither of them spoke after that. But something between them had changed. Slowly, they started spending more time together. Sometimes they ate dinner together. Sometimes they talked late at night. Sometimes Ethan even smiled. And every time he did, Emily's heart softened a little more. One rainy evening, Emily stood alone on the mansion balcony. Ethan walked beside her. For several moments, only the sound of rain existed between them. Then Ethan finally spoke. "When I first saw you, I couldn't stop thinking about you." Emily looked at him quietly. "I know what I did was wrong," he continued. "I know. I destroyed your life even more." His voice sounded different tonight. Not cold, broken. "But I swear, I never wanted to hurt you." Emily's eyes slowly filled with tears. "For a long time," she whispered, "I hated you. Ethan lowered his eyes. You should, but... Emily continued softly. You were also the only person who stayed beside me after everyone left. Ethan looked at her in shock. Emily stepped closer. I don't understand my feelings anymore. Ethan's breathing became heavier. Emily. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I tried so hard to hate you. Ethan gently wiped away one of her tears. And I tried so hard not to love you. Silence filled the space between them. Then slowly, Emily rested her forehead against his chest. And for the first time in years, Ethan felt peace. Months later, Ethan completely abandoned his father's criminal business. He left the gambling world, the violence, everything. Victor furiously disowned him, but Ethan no longer cared. Because for the first time in his life, he had something more valuable than power. He had Emily. One beautiful spring morning, Ethan surprised her with a trip outside the city. The two of them traveled far away from the darkness and painful memories. They reached a peaceful lake surrounded by green hills and flowers. Emily stood near the water, while soft wind moved through her hair. For a long moment, she simply smiled. A real smile, the kind she thought she had lost forever. Ethan slowly walked beside her. I know I can't erase your pain, he said softly. And I know I can't change the past. Emily looked at him silently. But if you let me, he gently held her hand. I want to spend the rest of my life making you smile again. Emily's eyes filled with tears, not painful tears, warm ones. She slowly leaned against him, and for the first time since losing her family, Emily finally felt alive again. The end.